This is Monterey's Cookin Pisto Style, featuring restaurateur and master chef John Pisto.
The thing I really love about Fisherman's Wharf is coming down here early in the morning when there's not many people here, usually around 7 o'clock, and just looking at all the stores and the restaurants and seeing some of the fishermen getting ready to go out and do their salmon fishing or deep sea fishing. To me, that's the best time of the morning for me. I really, really enjoy it. Get to see some old friends, and there's a lot of people taking their morning jog and their morning walks, and we get to visit, and it becomes quite pleasant at that time of the day. I always go and check my restaurants too. It's very important that I go talk to the chefs early in the morning. They're just getting there. We have our cup of coffee together, and we look at the fish and seeing what's available and what's real good, what's prime, and that's one of my special parts of the day is that nice morning constitutional. The boats that are tied up now, at one time there used to be 100 and over, I think it was 125 purse seiners during the sardine era here in the peninsula. Now I think there's maybe only 3. Diana's one there, and San Giuseppe's another one. Those are what's left of our proud sardine fleet. The other boats that are in there now, the commercial boats you see are used for squid. Some of them are used for herring. Some are pleasure craft, of course. Some are never even used. I think people just to have them, maybe they come down on the weekend and spend a night on the boat. Monterey's a good sailing port also, because we're always pretty consistent on the wind, so you got some nice sailing craft here too, some fairly large ones. It's a good bay for sailing. There's a lot of wind out here. Well, we made it back home. I'm gonna wrap the fish. Look at that. Look how nice and fresh this is. Let me give you a little pointer on fresh fish. It's got to be very, very firm. If you start seeing it breaking down in here, means it's very old or it's been handled very roughly. Be very, very wary of that. Now, another way to tell fresh fish is you smell it. Fresh fish should smell very good. It should smell briny, it should smell like the ocean. And it also should have a beautiful silk velvety finish to it. You can see this is fresh. And look at that, just incredible, very good. Makes a big difference when you're cooking fish, folks. Okay, now, let's get our sauce going. We came upon this, it's almost like an accident, but it was so good that we now serve it in one of the restaurants, and it has a combination that's very unlikely, but it works. It really, really works. Okay, we start with our first ingredient. Okay, we do a little garlic, and this is going to be maybe enough for 2 people. Okay, just chop that up. Let's throw it in there. I'm starting to use these Teflon coated pans a lot more now. For several reasons. Easy to clean. Don't have to use as much oil. Okay, we'll just put a little bit of onion in there. Not a lot. Okay. But we gotta use oil though, and especially oil from my friend Joe. Shabika, olive oil made in California. I'm gonna try to have him on the show one time. You'll really enjoy him. He's a guy he's about in his early early 80s maybe, and with the personality of in his 50s. And he must drink this stuff because he's got the best complexion. He's got this shock of white hair, and he's just a terrific guy. And his sons now are running. He picked up learning how to make olive oil from his father at the turn of the century, and now his sons are making it, and he likes to go to all these farmers markets around. He has a good time. Good guy. And his oil's fantastic. Okay, here we go. We're gonna brown this a little bit. Like I said, this has got the weirdest combination in the world, but believe me, you're gonna be surprised. Here's some of these capers. Okay, if you're using the pickled ones, rinse them out because I don't want the vinegar in there. These are homemade, right out of the backyard of my mama. Okay, we do that. Now I've got some tomato sauce. This is out of a 26-ounce can, so you know I'm gonna make a portion for like one and a half, 2 people. Okay, watch out. Okay, put that on low. Now, you're gonna say, what is that? I'm gonna show you what that is. Okay, we're gonna put a little hot pepper. And now, this is fresh mint. And put a lot of it in there. Okay, now let's go this way. A little bit more sauce. Okay, just crush. These are crushed tomatoes. Okay. Now let's put a little pepper. Give it a little salt. A little bit more, and I want to put a little bit of these Kalamata olives because they have such good flavor, and I want these cut up pretty good. Okay, goes in there. All right, now let's get to the salmon. Now you're probably asking yourself, what is this? Well, about 4 years ago when we started our local show, I needed to cook some fish, and it was raining outside and we couldn't do a barbecue, so I happened to pick this piece of equipment up, and I used it. Well, the response was incredible. People were saying, where'd you get this pan? I said, well, you know, I got it. They're kind of hard to find. So we ended up selling wholesale to on our TV show, and they're so popular that you can cook fish on them, you can cook steaks on them, cook chicken. I mean, anything that you barbecue, you can cook on this pan here. Now, if you can watch the expression on my face, this is heavy. I mean, it's a piece of equipment. And it's good that it's heavy in that when you put something cold, like I could put 3 16-ounce New York steaks on this, and the temperature won't go down because this thing stays hot because it's so heavy. Now, some of the other ones that I see in the market, they're made out of aluminum. They're very thin and light, and what happens, you put something on it, it cools, it brings the temperature down, and the meat or whatever you're cooking doesn't sear it, and you want these to sear. Okay, this is getting closer. Let's let the sauce cook, and we'll be right back. And now you have to get this hot. Now this takes a good 5, 6, 7, 8 minutes. I've got it on very high heat. I get it up to where I can see it's very, very hot, and then I back it off just a little bit. You have to experiment with this. Also, keep your fan on. Okay, I'm not going to put the fan on because it's real noisy. We've got a real fan in here, and it'll really kick in some noise. Now, it's not going to make that much smoke, but okay, what I'm going to do, Vince left, remember we got that beautiful salmon. He left the skin out, so I want the skin off. Make sure you tell the guys to take the skin off for you. Okay. See, that came out pretty good. And what we'll do is I want these to look pretty, so I'm going to cut these at an angle. Okay. Now, you know, we've heard so much about blackening and, you know, the spice that Paul Prudhomme has, you know, his style, which is absolutely fantastic. By the way, I'm one of his biggest fans. But we're going to do something a little different. We're going to do something called bronzing. Bronzing. A little hard to pronounce. Okay, rub this down with some olive oil. Now make sure when you get the fish, folks, have him take the bones out. If not, get yourself some needle nose pliers and you get in there and you pull them out, because you know nothing worse than eating a piece of filet. Okay. Okay, so I rubbed this down with olive oil. Now this is a mixture I learned while we were in France, and some friends of ours served this to us in Saint-Tropez, and it's the base is cumin. Okay, C-U-M-I-N. Now what we're going to do, this is a natural accompaniment to fish. I mean, it's incredible. Now this has got some salt in it already, so I'm not going to re-salt it, but okay. So pat it in there real good. See, this is, again, you know, this is Mediterranean, North African cooking. Okay, when that's going, now I'm just going to lay it right over the top. Okay, now we do this one, and we do this one. And this has got some black pepper, or excuse me, some white pepper in it. And I tell you, I had this cooked with anchovies, fresh anchovies, and some fresh sardines. That was absolutely incredible. Okay, we'll leave that there. Now wash my hands. Now, the secret of cooking fish, very important, listen. You do not touch this. Once you put it down, leave it alone. Because your biggest temptation is going to be to come over here and lift it and see if it's cooking. Well, now, if you cook fish and it always falls apart, well, that's what you're doing. Leave it alone. Don't touch it. Let it cook. Let it form a crust in there. Because once it forms its crust, then you're going to be able to turn it. The secret is a good spatula, number one. Number two, turn it one time, not twice. You start playing with this thing, you end up with flakes. You can make a meatloaf out of this after. No good. Now you're going to see, this is not smoking too bad. This is going to mark it. People are going to think, we're going to do some meat on here later. Not on this show, another show. We'll do some steaks. I'll tell you, you won't believe how delicious these steaks are cooked here. You'll think they've been cooked outside over oak. Okay, let's give this another few minutes. We're looking maybe, I don't know, 5-6 minutes per side. We'll come back to this in a few minutes. We'll let this cook another couple minutes. We'll be right back. Salmon, and it tastes so good in a restaurant. Why? How come I can't fix it like that? Well, part of this thing is, let me show you. You see that around the edges here? Can you see that okay, Steve? See how that gets a little crispy? Because that tastes good. It brings out the flavor of the fish. And you know, this is one of the reasons. See, it's real high heat. Okay, now we're going to flip it. Look at that. Isn't that gorgeous? Isn't that beautiful? Look at the lines on it. You see the nice bronze color? This is a dark bronze. But isn't that beautiful how it's golden up, see? It's very easy. Put the sauce over here and we'll let this continue cooking. Now, you know, we don't want to cook fish too much. We want to cook it too well. You always want to cook salmon to where it's cooked. Do not serve raw salmon. Some places do that. I don't like that practice. Salmon should be cooked. Should be cooked through, not overcooked. Should be cooked just to the point of losing the opaqueness. Very important. You know, we've had some people that asked us or asked me to talk about some of the restaurants. They were real curious. Well, you know, being in Monterey, I have 2 restaurants on Fisherman's Wharf. The one specializes in calamari. The other one specializes in seafood. We barbecue the fish over mesquite and a mixture of oak wood and mesquite charcoal. We make our pastas there. Again, they're right on the wharf. You know, the wharf has a lot of history down there. You know, Monterey used to be the salmon capital of the world. We're going to show you in some future shows how to make some pasta with some of the sardines that have been caught there. and they're still catching them and they're canning them. You know, another famous area that we have a couple restaurants in is down on Cannery Row, made famous by John Steinbeck. You know, he had the book Cannery Row, East of Eden. They made a nice movie about it. We have one right on the road that's right on the water. The other one's up a little bit higher, the next street up, and that used to be a Chinese grocery store at one time during the heyday of Cannery Row. And that specializes in steaks, and we have these beautiful prime New York steaks. I tell you, they're just big porterhouses, beautiful salads, and it's a nice restaurant. We've had that one for over 25 years now. I think we're getting close, folks. Now, look how easy. Look at this. Now, is that gorgeous or what? Okay, there's your bronze. Is that bronze? That's bronze to me. Now, to check, what you do is you do that. Okay, this is ready. This fish is cooked. I'm going to get a dish. We got the sauce here, still warm. Okay. I'm going to put the sauce on the bottom. Boy, the mint is incredible flavor. Just incredible flavor. Okay, you see how this fish stuck together? You see? I mean, it's just perfect. Okay, so what you do, and then very important to have just a little bit of lemon to it. And we'll decorate it up a little bit. Because again, the lemon with this is going to be incredible. And we got some mint here. We'll decorate it up with some nice green. And look at this. Look at that. Bronze with tomato. This beautiful looking salmon. Let me get a fork. And let's see what we got here. Okay, let's see. Now, can you see that? Now I want you to, let's give it a little bit of lemon. This is as good you can cook just like the restaurants do, folks. Okay, let's break it. Look at that. Just nice and moist. I would drink a Sauvignon Blanc with this. Would be incredible. A good Chardonnay would be incredible. A light red would be delicious. Let's taste some of the sauce. The mint jumps at you. See this fish? Look how that's cooked. This is real bold. This is bold fish. Maybe we should call this bold fish because it's very assertive flavors. I know everyone's gonna like this one. Again, I want you to try it. It's real good. Bronze salmon with tomato and mint coulis.